Welcome to the greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. My name is Tanner Kern, certified G, bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. And this right here, this is G Money Grant Mitchell. Today we're talking about our favorite Week 12 spreads. We're talking Thursday night football, and you can't teach that. Bada boom, man, the people in the room, G Money Grant Mitchell. How you doing?
I'm doing really good, Tanner. I got to be honest. I got to be transparent with the people. Last week, my worst week of the NFL season. It had been one for the history books for me up to that point. So I'm just excited to get back on the horse. We had some really fun matchups last week. It's sad that didn't roll over into being a good betting weekend for me. But nonetheless, I am excited to get back to the picks for this week.
Me too. Very excited. I got beat up personally last weekend on my bets, not personally like in the face, just on my bets.
Nobody from DraftKings came and actually punched you up because you were losing.
No, nobody punched me up, but everything went wrong last week. It was it was a really bad week. The dagger for me was the Chiefs losing to the Broncos. That was rough. In college football, Alabama losing to Oklahoma. Kalen DeBoer needs to pack up his bags and get on his merry way. I fell for Texas. I'm a Texas fan, so I fell for them on the road.
Told you not to buy into the underdog story.
So the problem was that game was an 11. In no world does Texas win the game, but that game I needed plus 10.5, so they knocked out the teasers too. The way the game went. And 11-point game, and then Kirby goes for the onside kick, like absolute sicko. I think Georgia could win the national title. I know we don't really talk about college football on the show, but I think they're that good too. Like there's a lot of good teams this year, but Georgia stands above the rest because it's just the program's there. So that killed me. It was a really rough weekend across the board, and then I chased some losses, and the Lions hurt me too. Dan Campbell just going for it, fake punts. He's terrible.
You know what's funny with him? I think his aggressiveness is almost too predictable now. Something weird is coming. A fake punt, an onside kick. Something funky's coming all the time.
And I will defend him. Like a lot of the plays were open. Jared Goff just couldn't get it done. The offensive line couldn't give him enough time in the pocket. Like he left some balls low or short with Amon or St. Brown, Jameson Williams. Like Amonder's got to hang on to that one ball that he couldn't. There were multiple plays. Jameer Gibbs was all over the field. He did a great job, but you can't get stopped inside the opponent's 50 multiple times and expect to win a game. Just can't happen.
Yeah, watching that Commanders game, as obviously Commanders fan back here.
Yeah,
watching the Commanders game in the morning, dude, the teams were 1 for 8 in the red zone. It was painful to watch.
I don't know why people pass up field goals. Because Dan Campbell at the end of the game, was ready to go for it on 4th and 17, which is crazy. And then the wind's really tough tonight. The kicker drills a 50-yard field goal. Bates drills it. So what are we doing here? We should have been kicking field goals all night. You kick field goals all night. It's like a 1-score game at the end. And then you get the stop. Maybe you just need a 3-point a field goal. The pass interference aside at the end, that was despicable too. But if you get a stop there, you get a chance. I don't know why coaches pass up free points early in games. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so early and late as well. Going back to that Dolphins-Commanders game, the Dolphins, there was a minute and a half left, and it was tied at 13, and they were on the 1-yard line, and they'd gotten stopped 3 times in a row, so it's 4th down, and they went for it, and they got stuffed. It's like they have 13 points all game. Just kick the field goal, make them drive the field. They're most likely not going to get into the end zone. And then they have the worst kicker in the league, who, by the way, was just released. So, put the pressure on them. But teams are – I listened to Greg Olson explain this at one point, and basically said that teams are willing to pass up on field goals now because if they miss it, obviously they're giving up bad field position. And then even if they make it, teams are usually getting the ball out to at least the 35-yard line right now. I think that applies to really long field goals, unless it's end of half stuff, end of game stuff. We'll leave the 55, 60-yarders on the table, sure. But when you're in that 30-yard range and it's a 4th and 7 or whatever, yeah, take the points. Don't continue to go for it for no reason.
My mindset is if you're on the first drive of the game, especially, and you go 15 plays, 10 plays, whatever it is, and you're inside the 15-yard line and it's 4th and 1, take points, get points to start a game. And then if you want to get aggressive in the second quarter, that's probably the time to do it, unless it's right before the half. And then, 3rd, 4th quarter, maybe different story. But Like if you're inside the 10, 4th and 1, I can live with it. If you're anywhere else and you've gone on a long drive, like take points. If you have a turnover and you get a spot where you get free 3 points that you shouldn't have gotten, don't go for it on 4th and 1. Take the points. Like there's moments where I just think coaches, they don't think. They just get too aggressive. But that's besides the point.
Yeah, unless there's extenuating circumstances, like unless you know you're facing a really good offense and you've got defensive injuries, okay, then sure, go for it on 4th down all the time. But if it's just a normal game, like Lions Eagles, we think are two relatively evenly matched teams. The game ended up with 27 total points. Points are at a premium, so just take them when you can.
And he passed up 2 field goal opportunities and they lost by 7. So, and they really shouldn't have got the one at the end when the Eagles ran the tush push. The Eagles should have punted that, but I get it in the situation with your defense playing that well. A couple other things we want to recap here from week 11, Chiefs losing to the Broncos. Grant, big question. I think big question coming up over the next few weeks is, are the Chiefs going to make the playoffs? What do you think?
Well, it's just so hard for me to not see them in the playoffs. I mean, we're 10 games into the season and they're sitting at 500. They start 0-2, then they win 5 of their next 6. It's like, oh, never mind. They got their swagger back. That's what we were saying. That's what everyone was saying. The offense looks right again. And then they lose to the Bills. Okay, no shame in that, I guess. But to lose to the Broncos, I think Mahomes had only lost to them once in his career off of a bye week, with Andy Reid being the best bye week coach in NFL history, Mahomes being the best bye week quarterback in NFL history. That's a big deal. This is essentially guaranteed the Broncos win the division, that and the Chargers losing to the Jaguars. This is now the Broncos division. The Chargers are going to get in the playoffs. So the Chiefs are going to be trying to be the 3rd team from their division. Again, it's just so hard for me not to see them there. But at the start of the season, I said this was a 9-8, 10-7 sort of year for the Chiefs. It hasn't gone the way I thought it would, but I think you are still seeing some of those same indicators that, no, this is a team that's just getting old and tired, and they don't have that next level that they can go to that they've always had.
0-5 in 1-score games. That's the problem.
After they were like 11-0 in them last year.
Chiefs Cowboys on Thanksgiving. I didn't realize that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep.
So, okay. So if you're looking at the Chiefs schedule right now, Colts, Cowboys, Texans, Chargers, Titans, Broncos, Raiders. So figure if you don't beat the Colts this weekend, you're in panic mode, I would say.
Oh, 100%, because they're 5-5 and there's a chance 10-7 doesn't get you into the playoffs if the tiebreaker doesn't fall your way.
Well, they just don't control their destiny. That's the biggest issue right now. You got to look at the Jaguar schedule. You're going to probably beat the Cardinals. I mean, the Cardinals got embarrassed last week, so there's a good chance Arizona responds. It wouldn't surprise me. But when I'm looking at the schedule remaining for the Jaguars, which is the one spot that they need, you got Cardinals, Titans, Colts, Jets, Broncos, Colts, Titans. Worst case there, what do you think? 500?
Yeah,
4-3,
about
right?
there. And then the Texans, so the Texans are starting to look better as well. And the Jags have the tiebreaker over the Chiefs from their head-to-head game. The Texans also have the tiebreaker over the Chiefs because they're 4-2 against the AFC, whereas the Chiefs are 2-4 against the AFC. So they have to get past the Texans and the Jags without the tiebreaker.
Do the Chiefs have the Texans on the schedule?
They do, 3 weeks from now.
So I'm not super worried about that. Like I do think if they get to that point, they could easily win. But like you're in panic mode right now. If you lose to the Colts at the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, it's not a super easy game. They should find a way to win it, but that's not easy. And Texans, Chargers, Titans, Broncos, Raiders. I mean, I think best case for the Chiefs, you're probably going 5-1 in their final 6 or 6-1 in their final 7, I would say.
Yeah, maybe I would say 5-2 is probably best case, just because they haven't shown me that ability to consistently win.
So 5-2, you're 10-7 right there. The Jaguars are already a win better than you. Like I think the Jaguars can go 4-3.
Yeah, I do too.
I just don't see. I can't imagine it though. It's hard. I'm having a breakdown the podcast trying to figure it out right now.
No, I'm with you. It just doesn't seem right. It feels like you're making a mistake, but the way it breaks down, it's not an easy path for them to get to the playoffs.
The Chiefs need to go undefeated.
We could get the Chiefs and the Ravens out of the playoffs.
Ravens will make the playoffs. I'm not worried about that.
I'm saying it's possible. They're 5-5 as well.
But they'll get in through they'll get in as a division winner. which is crazy to think, but they'll get in. Jamar Chase, speaking of the AFC North, he's dumb, losing 500 grand. But anyways, Grant, we got betting to talk about today.
We do, and we also have to talk about WSN.com. So, guys, if you are watching this video, first and foremost, make sure you do hit the like button. That's the number one way you can support us. Also, hit the subscribe button if you're new around here. But if you're interested in sports betting in any shape or form, whether it is the NFL, whether it's the NBA, literally anything, go to WSN.com. You're going to get expert picks from Tanner, myself, and the team over there. We also have bonus codes for all of the major sports books. So if you go to Bet365, you bet $5, you can take home $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. We got a $1,500 safety net at BetMGM. You got Fanatics, FanDuel, all the big sports books. You'll find them waiting for you over there at WSN.com.
Definitely. And also make sure you guys subscribe to Ride the Line, greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. We are here every Tuesday and Friday, also posting clips throughout the week. So make sure you guys smash the subscribe button, get your NFL picks in, and get ready to go. Grant, Thursday night football coming up. We have a big one on Thursday night. The Buffalo Bills coming off a steamrolling of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 6 total touchdowns from Josh Allen. We'll head to Houston to face the Texans, who are looking better. It's funny, as soon as CJ Stroud goes away, they start to look better. I don't know how that happens. But the Texans are looking better. They're a 5.5-point underdog at home. So where do you see this game going?
Yeah, better is relative, obviously, because they still don't look great with Davis Mills. I think it's just there's a little more play-to-play consistency with the offense right now. He's not making the big plays that CJ Stroud could, but oftentimes CJ Stroud would take sacks or be scrambling, running for his life, throwing it away, just not really having that connection with his team. We know defense is the backbone of the Texans. For a long time now, they've been one of the best pass defenses in the NFL. Now their run defense is actually elite as well. So they are kind of like a souped up version of the Browns, where the Browns, it's like, hey, we can get to the Super Bowl if we have an average quarterback. And they've just had the worst quarterback in the league every year. That's what it seems like with the Browns. Texans, a step ahead of that on the offense. Obviously, they're way more versatile. They can do a lot more, but that's their defense. Their defense is like begging, please, guys, give us some points, because we are holding basically every team under 20 points. Give us some support and we can win 12, 13, 14 games. So that's what the Texans are working towards. On the other side, the Bills, the problem with the NFL this season and trying to figure out where all the teams stack up is there's not been a dominant team. There's like a group of teams that you think are pretty good to really good, but there's no one really running away with it. Even the Broncos, who have the best record in the NFL right now, like, are you looking at them and saying, yeah, I trust Bo Nix to win me a Super Bowl? No. And the Bills have fallen victim to that because they start off the year 4-0. They have the wild comeback against the Ravens. Then they beat up on the bottom feeders. Then they lose back-to-back games. They smoke the Panthers, beat the Chiefs. Then they get smoked by the Dolphins. And then they hang 44 on the Buccaneers. So I look at teams like the Bills, the Chiefs, like I said, the Broncos, the Packers, the Lions, the Eagles, all these top contenders. You can't trust any one of them to show up every single weekend. And that's the problem that I'm dealing with right now.
I have no clue, just besides the game for a second, I have no clue who's going to win the AFC right now. When you just look at the situation unfolding, because you would think the Chiefs could, but they might not get in the playoffs. The Bills are trash sometimes and they're great other times. And even in the Bills-Buccaneers game, from what I saw, the Bills are not that good of a football team. They just have Josh Allen. Like that is all they have. So I know they didn't have Keon Coleman in the lineup, but
that was their choice. He was healthy.
I know it was their choice, and it was because he didn't show up to a meeting on Friday, which there are some, I think that could be questionable because like your best players are going to play no matter what. If you think you can get, if you think you're not going to win a football game without your best players, some of your best skill talent, like they're going to be on the field. And that was the case with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens the other night. Sit out a series and then come in. But yeah, I think the Bills are the better team here just because of Josh Allen. Like he is the only thing that takes them over the edge. I think that you can make an argument that the Texans have a lot better skill players, but the quarterback's the biggest problem here. So I'll lean towards the Bills. The line is moving in their favor. It was -4.5. It's up to 5.5. I'd probably get it now. I could see this at 6.5, honestly.
Yeah, Josh Allen's obviously better than Davis Mills and CJ Stroud when he's there. I think you're right that the Texans have they have a better defense, they have better receivers. Obviously, the Bills got the better running back. Problem is the Texans offensive line is also pretty bad. If they had a really good offensive line, even with CJ Stroud or Davis Mills here, this could be a competitive game. But I think that is kind of what separates them right now.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Defensively, I think the Texans can tame Josh Allen a little bit, especially because of that lack of skill players. And I think that's hurt them at times this year when Josh just doesn't become Superman and like he did last week, obviously. But yeah, it's a spot where are you tempted by Houston plus 5.5 at all or no?
I'm tempted by it. It's first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wait to see if it is Mills or Stroud that's playing. Although, to be completely honest, I don't really know how much that changes the line. I mean, CJ Stroud is a better player than Davis Mills. But like I said, there's been a little more just down to down fluidity with Mills in the lineup.
I don't trust Mills at all because like to beat the Bills, you need Josh Allen to be tame, but you also need a quarterback to outplay him.
Yeah.
And Davis Mills is not going to go outplay Josh Allen, especially with how the Bills are rolling right now. And I also think too, like don't mistake the fact that the Chiefs not being in the playoffs is motivating the Bills even more right now. Like this feels like more of the year if that is the case. Now the Ravens are going to come in and break some people's hearts too, but the Buffalo Bills, like if you can't get it done this year with how the AFC looks, I don't know if you'll ever get it done.
And we still have no idea what's happening with the Colts either. Like, are the Colts actually good? Same thing. Is Daniel Jones actually going to win the AFC? They brought in Sauce Gardner, so I mean they've got the talent.
Yeah, but I would rather face the Colts with Daniel Jones than Patrick Mahomes at Arrowhead Stadium. So this is a year where the Bills, and I can't look at the Bills and say they're a Super Bowl team. I just can't do it because I don't think they have the talent. And Josh Allen isn't going to go off for 6 touchdowns every week like he did last week against the Buccaneers. But in this game specifically, as tempting as Houston is a plus 5.5, and they could easily cover this line. It could be close. We've seen the Bills fall apart in prime time as a 4.5 point favorite against the Falcons. It's just not the spot where I would want to take Houston because I think you got to outplay Josh Allen. I just don't see Davis Mills coming close to that.
Yeah, I'm gonna side with the Bills at minus 5.5, but I think it's gonna be a sweat the entire time because I think the Texans could be winning 14-13, and then it's a fourth quarter touchdown that gets the Bills the win. Or maybe it's like a 16-9. Like I think it's just gonna be one of those weird defensive games. Davis Mills is gonna have no touchdowns and an interception. Josh Allen's gonna complete 50% of his passes, only have 1 touchdown, but that's gonna be the game-winning touchdown. I think it's gonna be something like that.
And even going back to last week against the Buccaneers, don't let the score fool you. Like Tampa Bay still put up 32 points. They forced 2 turnovers off Josh Allen. They lost by 13, but at one point that was 5 or 6, whatever it was. And then the Bucs chose to punt and they gave up a late touchdown. Like that was a game where the Buccaneers could have covered if a few things went their way, 1 more touchdown. So don't be fooled by the score there looking at this one. I still think the Bills are better than the Texans. I think the Buccaneers are better than the Texans. So I would lean towards the Bills here, minus 5.5.
What we got for player props here?
So I'm going to go with James Cook. I'm going to take him over his rushing line, which I believe 73.5 right now. You look at James Cook coming off a 16 carries, 48 yards a game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If I am the Houston Texans, I am living with getting beat up by James Cook. I'm not living with getting beat by Josh Allen. Like if Josh Allen did not have the game that he had last week, that's a much tighter matchup. It's one that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers probably win. So I think we're going to see a little heftier dose of James Cook this week. And he's been great overall. Had the touchdown catch last week, 3 for 66. Still was hurt a little bit there. 13 for 53 against the Dolphins the week before run the ball. But against the Chiefs, 27 for 114. I think short week, you got to slow the game down, try to pound the rock. And again, he's capable of doing 200 yards on the ground. We've seen it this year. So like him getting back on track here after 2 slow weeks running the ball.
Yeah. Either Josh Allen's going to have to go over his passing line or James Cook is going to have to go over his rushing line, most likely for the Bills to win this game. The problem is the Texans are number 1 in the NFL in yards allowed per attempt, number 4 in yards allowed per carry. So there's not like a clear mathematical indication. You kind of just have to parse how you think it's going to play out. I'm actually on the Allen side of it just because there's been he's willing to put the Superman cape on and just take over, like we saw it with the 3 rushing touchdowns last week. And I do just worry if Cook gets stopped. If he's got 10 carries for 40 yards, they might just stop running entirely. They might just throw it. So I'll go Allen, but that's because I had to find a Bills player prop. My favorite Bills player prop actually is James Cook, but it's for a touchdown. Just because I think if and when they get down into the red zone, after Allen ran for 3 touchdowns and had 6 total, I just think they're going to give James Cook the ball. I know they threw him one, but I think they're actually going to let him run it when they get near the goal line.
James Cook, Josh Allen, both minus 115 to score. I like both those two. I mean, one of those guys is going to score if they get down the red zone. That's the bottom line. But I agree. I think if you're the Houston Texans, you don't want Josh Allen. You're focusing on Josh Allen to not score in the red zone. You'd rather have James Cook be that guy. What else you got, Grant?
Well, my favorite Texans player prop, and I'll be honest, I love these like wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 props. I've given out a couple of Troy Franklin props, for example, and they've come true on this show. So I'm going to go with Jaden Higgins over 27.5 receiving yards. Jaden Higgins is a 6'4" rookie receiver from Iowa State. He started the year not really being involved at all, but if you look at some of his recent numbers, so he has 4 catches for 55 yards last week, 5 for 42 and a touchdown the week before that, only 1 for 4 the week before that, but it's 4 for 34 and a touchdown the week before that. Also, his targets in recent games, 7, 7, 1, 8. So he's on the field more. The ball is coming in his direction more often. He's 6'4". He can create obvious matchup issues, a good third down threat. So this is 2 catches. The volume has been there lately, and so I like it.
I like that too, Grant. I think that's a good play. My final player prop for this game, Sean Tucker goes off last week as the backup running back, 3 touchdowns. I'm going to go with Nick Chubb over his rushing line. If you want to sprinkle him to score a touchdown, go for it. But I'll take Nick Chubb over 20.5 as the backup running back this week. He's been close to this pretty much every week. Going back to October 20th, 5 for 16. Then he had 17 for 56 against the Niners, 11 for 34 against the Broncos, 5 for 47 against the Jags. And then last week, 3 for 17 against the Titans. Like, he's still putting up pretty nice numbers as a backup there. I think this is a spot where the Bills are susceptible to the ground game that we saw last week. I'm Houston. I have Davis Mills playing quarterback. Maybe it's a little different because of how the Bills defend. Maybe they were more focused on Baker last week and they were willing to give up more on the ground. But if the Bills don't tighten up the run defense, I think there's going to be opportunities for Houston to run the ball here. So why not take a chance on a low line that he can hit in 2 carries?
Yeah, the Bills allow the second most yards per carry in the NFL this season, 5.4. Only the New York Giants are worse.
Yeah, so it's a spot where I absolutely love the backup running backs. And we'll keep the trend going. Sean Tucker delivers last week. Let's see if Nick Chubb can do it. It's amazing that the fall off of Nick Chubb after the injury. Like, this guy is still relevant. I know he's not relevant because he's a backup, but he's still a guy who can run the ball a little bit. So it's very sad what happened to him, but he's still making the most of his opportunities in Houston.
Well, he also tore his ACL, I think, at Georgia, and then he had that it was multiple tears, right, on the Minka play.
Yeah.
So the fact he's still out there balling, it's tough to do. Makes me think of what's next for Michael Penix, actually, because I don't know if you saw the reports, but it looks like he tore his ACL, and that would be his 3rd ACL tear at he's 25 years old.
He's also not good at football. Like, not to be mean or anything, but like, Penix is not good. Like, I don't know why he was drafted. When you were in the situation that you had with Kirk Cousins, it made no sense to draft Michael Penix. Simple as that.
Would you say that it's fair to say now that 2024 draft class, so we've got May and Jaden up here. Jaden, it's a little questionable just because we don't really know. We didn't really get a second year, but like, he had the outstanding rookie year. May's had the outstanding sophomore year. Then it's Caleb and Bo Nix kind of battling in that next slot. I think Bo Nix is ahead right now. And then McCarthy and Penix, it's already time to move on.
9, JJ 9.
Yeah, 9.
So I think this might trigger you a little bit, Graham, but I think Drake May is by far number one, projecting number one, and just because I don't trust Jaden to stay healthy. I don't trust.
If we're bringing health into it, I get that.
And Drake May is a prototypical NFL quarterback. Like, he needs to learn how to slide too. Trust me, but I think it would be him one. Because of health, I'll put Bo Nix at 2 right now. I don't know what Jaden Daniels is going to do, and I'll put Jaden at 3. Because also too, Jaden's the kind of quarterback, and if you get some tape on him, like he came out of nowhere last year. All these guys come out of nowhere, but I'm worried about the health issues. I'm worried about Jaden needs to use his legs to be a successful quarterback in the NFL. Is he going to be able to do that? We're going to find out.
I don't agree with you there.
I
can use his legs. He can also be a pocket passer.
He cannot be a straight pocket passer. He is Drake May is a pocket passer.
That's not fully true though, because Drake May uses his legs too.
Drake May does not have to run the ball in one time in a game to be successful. I think Jaden needs to use his legs on third down to be successful.
I think it helps, but I think you're confusing him having that asset with him needing to do it.
That's one of his biggest assets.
It is, but he was also the best deep ball passer coming out of college.
But he was playing in the SEC where his guys were just running straight open down the field against like bad competition sometimes.
I don't know. If you look at his best games, he really wasn't that great at running the football.
But it's when he runs the football and what times he does it. And
well, that's more of a team composition issue then. Get some better playmakers around him.
You need better offensive linemen too. You got a lot of problems, Grant, down in Washington.
The roster is terrible. So
Drake May is projecting to be the number one quarterback in that class. And Bo Nix 2-1 against Patrick Mahomes, or 2-1 against the Chiefs, 1-1 against Mahomes.
Yeah. I hate Bo Nix. I don't hate him actually. I shouldn't say that. That's bad. I don't think he's good, but
he's a good like Mormon man. I think he's Mormon. He looks Mormon.
If he's not,
I think he's Christian or Mormon, but like the blonde hair, the vibe, he gives me Mormon vibes.
He's Christian.
Mormon is Christian, right?
Nick, he was raised in the South and is a Christian. He is not affiliated with the Church of Jesus. We're going down a rabbit hole.
Church of Latter-day Saints. So he's from the South?
Yeah, where is Bo Nix?
He does it. That post-game interview didn't give me Southern vibes.
He's from Arkadelphia, Arkansas. What a name.
That's crazy. He gives off like, maybe it's because he's playing in Denver now, but he gives me like Zach Wilson vibes as just a person. I'm sorry, this town name is Arkadelphia. I can't get over that. They just rebranded Philadelphia into Arkansas. Anyways, Drake, Bo, Jaden. 1, 2, 3.
No, it's clearly Drake and Jaden top 2.
Jaden can't even stay healthy. So we'll see what he does in year 3. But anyways, is there anything else on Thursday Night Football we want to discuss?
No, let's get moving. Let's talk about the top 5 spread bets in the NFL. Sunday, week 12, loaded slate. Didn't go too great for Tanner and I last week, but we're looking to bounce back here. Some really, really fun games. I'm going to start us off here because I'm going to have the balls to do what I don't know that many people will. You might do it too. This might be on your card as well. Tanner and I do not talk about these before we get on here and record. You might have done this knowing you. I don't think many people will. I'll take the Kansas City Chiefs -3 against the Indianapolis Colts. I'm going to do it. I've said this is the year of the downfall of the Chiefs. I've been saying they're 10-7 sort of team. I get it. The Colts are coming off of a bye. They added Sauce Gardner. I get all of it. Daniel Jones's pumpkin qualities have started to reveal themselves as of late. This is the biggest thing. I do not see the Chiefs going out with a whimper like this. They look sad. They will be going out sad if they fall to 5-6 after getting to 3 straight Super Bowls. I'm not saying there's any shame in it because they are a modern dynasty, but this is not how they go out. Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, Patrick Mahomes, whoever it is, someone is going to get them in the room and say, guys, we have every game of football you've played in your life, you got to dig in, find that moment and bring it here. Because if we lose this, we are out of the playoffs in the middle of November, essentially. So I think they come out, they beat the Colts. We get 3 touchdowns from Mahomes. Daniel Jones throws another couple of interceptions. They win.
Yeah, like the prophecy, and this is on my card too. And actually, when we came on and we started talking about the schedule, I kind of regretted putting this on the card, but this is on the card. The prophecy for the Chiefs downfall, they need to make the playoffs to fulfill the prophecy. Like they need to lose a big game in the playoffs to Josh or Lamar. That's the only way the prophecy is fulfilled. So I think they're going to get in. It starts this weekend. If they lose this game, their season is pretty much over.
It's
I
pretty
would
much
say.
over. Yeah.
So I imagine they're going to come out and dominate, but they should have came out and dominated last week, and they just couldn't do it. Like the Broncos, everyone's talking about how great the Broncos defense is. Like Patrick Mahomes was owning the Broncos defense minus a few mistakes. So
I like what you said about the prophecy because you're totally right. If the Chiefs just miss the playoffs, it's not going to feel as special as watching the king go down. You know what I mean?
They need to lose in the playoffs to Josh or Lamar, not to Daniel Jones. It needs to be to Josh or Lamar.
It might be Daniel Jones. What if it's Bo Nix? What if it's Drake May?
It could be Bo, but see, but Bo owns, like Bo hasn't had
Don't say he owns Mahomes.
Bo owns Mahomes. Like Bo owns Mahomes. Sean Payton owns Andy Reid. Like Drake May already owns Mahomes. I'm not worried about Drake May. I'm more worried about Josh and Lamar, who can't win a big game. I think right now, actually, just going a little off topic here, I think the Ravens are going to win the AFC again.
Like go to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think so. I think the Ravens are going to the Super Bowl, and Lamar is going to be the one to beat him. And Josh is going to lose in the divisional round to Pat.
Because that's what he does.
Yeah, or the wild card. Like Josh is going to lose the wild card probably. Yeah, because they're on a fifth division winner. Yeah, Josh is going to lose to Pat, and then Lamar is going to end it, or vice versa. I think it's going to be one of those.
All right. Well, we had the same one, so why don't you lead us off of number 2?
Okay, so my second pick here, I'm going to take the New England Patriots minus 7.5 on the road against the Cincinnati Bengals. You don't like this one, or is this on your card too?
Not only is this on my card, this is number 2 on my card.
Nice.
So we're 2 for 2 so far.
We think similar here. Basically, I mean, there were a lot of reasons to take the Patriots before this game. The fact that they're just dominating people, they're coming off the mini bye week, like they're competing for the 1 seed. Drake May looks fantastic defensively. They can hang for a little bit. Like they struggled to start. Who am I kidding? But they come alive later in games. Patriots are playing great football, both sides of the ball right now. Mike Vrabel has this team locked in, coming off that mini bye, coming off an easy game against the New York Jets. And this spot where now for the Bengals, your one way that you survived was by offense. You don't have Jamar Chase in this football game. Defensively, you're always terrible. You've been terrible. I don't see them putting up enough points without Jamar Chase to be good. And I think Joe Flacco is really going to struggle in this game, getting the ball down the field with the Patriots pass rush.
We see this game identically. Flacco last week, 23 of 40, 199 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Here are the amount of points given up by the Bengals defense this season. 34, 47, 39, 31, 27, 37, 28, 48, 27. The only game they've held their opponent, they've allowed at least 27 points to every team they played except for the week 1 Browns, which is insane. And again, 34 last week. Steelers weren't even trying at the end of that game. 47 to the Bears, 39 to the Jets. I'm with you. Going against this Patriots team, with the way Drake May has been playing and the way the Bengals defense has been playing, you should just pencil in the Patriots for about 35 points or so. So that means the Bengals are going to have to get to 28 without Jamar Chase. Thinking about when Flacco showed up in town, the first thing he did was say, "Where's Jamar Chase? Got it." And throwing him 20 targets a game. Without that, you saw, even when Chase was playing last week, he wasn't doing much. So because Jamar Chase struggled, he finished with what? He finished with 3 catches for 30 yards. Is it a coincidence Flacco had 199 yards? No, of course it's not a coincidence. So I'm totally with you. I don't think the Bengals are getting to 20 points in this game, and that should make it easy for the Patriots to cover.
Yeah, the Patriots are going to be fine here. So 7.5. It's a nice little juicy bet there for the Pats off the mini bye. All right, Grant, number 3 for you, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to do something that I don't normally like doing. I normally love taking the crap teams with the big spreads and backing them up. I've got my eye on the Jets this week as well, although it's not on my card. I'm still deciding on that game. I will lay 13 points with the Seahawks as they go on the road to face the Tennessee Titans. So a very critical matchup that the Seahawks lost on. I mean, they lost, but they had a chance to win it on the last second field goal. Did not go in. Thought that was deservedly so. I mean, Sam Darnold had 4 interceptions. It's honestly a testament to the Seahawks that they were actually still able to stay in that game and have a chance to win it when Darnold has no touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Stafford completed 50% of his passes, held to 130 yards. That played a big part in it. But Seahawks are still a very dominant team. They've got an outstanding defense. They're going to give hell to Cam Ward. The Titans look like they're going to be getting the first pick in the draft for 2 years in a row. They're 1-9 this year, and their one win was by 1 point. I get that they've been mildly more competitive recently, but I do think the Seahawks are going to come out and try to lay it on them. You saw them do something similar against the Saints earlier this year. They go for 40-plus points. I think it's just an all-time bounce-back spot against a very bad team that doesn't really want to be on the field.
This is not on my card, but I do understand it because Darnold's like a bully. He's like the big bad bully. He's going to beat up on teams that aren't very good. And he comes out firing. You look at how he played against the Cardinals in the first half, even though they won 44-22, and he had picks and interceptions in the second, 1 touchdown. He started great, and then he kind of fell apart in that one. But like the first half for them have been awesome. First half against Commanders, awesome, right? I think this is a good spot to take them in the first half spread as well because they seem to be really good early on in games, even though they were not good early on against the Los Angeles Rams. But Darnold turns the ball over 4 times, and they're still in a position to kick a 61-yard game-winning field goal, which is more than doable for most kickers in the NFL, especially indoors. They did not deserve to win the game, but they were still in the game. They are more than capable of beating the Rams and representing the NFC West in the playoffs if they get the win in their next chance against them.
First half spread in this game, -7.5, +110 odds for the Seahawks.
Nice. All right, Grant. I'm going to take the Chicago Bears -3 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I hate to do it because I saw a tweet. I'm going to pull it up here right now, but I hate to do it because like the Bears really haven't beaten anybody good. But like I'll tell you what, the Steelers aren't a very good football team, so that's my biggest thing here. So the Bears are the worst 7-3 football team in NFL history. They have a negative point differential. They're 0-2 with -45 point differential against 500 or better teams. Now, I know the Steelers are 500 or better. But, I don't look at the Steelers as a team that's capable of being 500 or better, especially now without Aaron Rodgers in the lineup. Like that's going to make a big difference for them. And the Bears are winning close games. That's the biggest thing. Caleb Williams has been really good down the stretch. And the Steelers pass defense, very shaky. I think Caleb's going to be able to make some big throws in this one down the stretch and win a tight game. So even though the Steelers are better on paper than 500, when you take away Aaron Rodgers, I don't think they're in that ballpark, and they're also spiraling with the Ravens coming right for them right now. So a spot where I like the Bears.
Yeah, one thing I really appreciate about Ben Johnson is he looked pissed coming off the field last weekend, and the Bears won. It was a good win for them against a divisional rival, and he looked really mad. And that gave me some comfort because there's a lot of concern that Ben Johnson was just going to be one of these typical genius offensive coordinators who doesn't know how to run a football team. Ben Johnson seems to have that structure, that backbone to hold his team in line. And I think he's going to that locker room saying, we lost last week. That's how we need to look at what just happened. We cannot get too high for a lot of the reasons that you laid out. But I feel the same way about the Steelers in some ways, kind of like you said as well. I don't think the Bears are great despite them having a really good record. I don't think the Steelers are that good despite them having a really good record. So if Rodgers is out in this game, I can totally see a world in which the Bears cover this line.
I mean, Mason Rudolph experience in Tennessee was not fun to watch. Like alternating between him and Will Levis, that was not fun to watch. So I don't expect much here for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, speaking of the NFC North, I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers -6.5 against the Minnesota Vikings. Fun stat for everybody out there. J.J. McCarthy has 5 NFL starts. He threw for 158 yards or less in 4 of them. So 80% of the time, he is not even getting to 160 yards. Now, there's a real dichotomy with the Packers because you watch them and you're like, wow, they suck. It's kind of like watching the Eagles, except the Eagles win more games. like, wow, they're terrible. And then you go look at the advanced metrics, and the Packers are like number 1, number 2, number 3 in all of them. So you're trying to parse together what's actually happening with this team. They haven't covered in 3 straight weeks. They beat the Giants by 7 as 7.5-point favorites, but that game was competitive. Jameis Winston was competitive in that game. You lose to the Eagles. You lose to the Panthers when you were 13-point favorites at home. So it's been a disappointing run for the Packers. The fact that they are at home going against this divisional rival with J.J. McCarthy playing the way he is, there's also a lot of frustration that's starting to seep in. And you can see that with Justin Jefferson, because Justin Jefferson has been like an all-time team guy throughout his time in the NFL. He's the one truly elite receiver who has not been a diva at all. He's finally showing some frustration. He's slamming his helmet, doing things like that. And I'm not saying this to say that he's a bad guy or anything. But when you take that, you think back to the beginning of the year when he was giving those interviews where he was basically alluding to the fact that J.J. McCarthy was not going to be that good. I think the Vikings, as brilliantly as they're coached, I think they're starting to run out of options a little bit. And the Packers can be a great team. They have not been for the last few weeks, but they can be. So at home, I think this is a spot where they get right, win by a touchdown or so, and they cover the line.
Yeah, I think this is a good spot for the Packers. I don't think the Packers are very good. Like, again, the worst thing that happened to them was beating the Detroit Lions by a lot in week 1 of the NFL season. I think the Vikings with 9 at quarterback just are not good at all either. It's like rebuild for them.
Calling them 9.
He's 9. That's what he goes to. He's 9. But 9 is just not. 9's not the guy. So, I like the Packers here -6.5. The Vikings are more than capable of keeping this game close with their defense, but at Lambeau, it's probably a spot where I think 9's going to struggle a little bit. So I'll go with the Packers.
Okay, who's your next pick?
9. So I dare I do this? Dare I do this?
Oh boy.
This is a risky play. Like, this is a gut play. It's tingling in me. I'll take the Dallas Cowboys +3.5 at home against Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
And I got a good reason for it. The Eagles offense is terrible. The Eagles offense is horrendous. This is a division game. You're on the road. You're coming off but like making 2 quarterbacks look like idiots. And now you get Dak. And Dak knows how to play against Philadelphia Eagles. Dak has played against the Eagles multiple times, obviously. Division
covered in week 1.
Covered in week 1. The Cowboys are more than capable of winning this game outright. So I think defensively, like, we can say it all we want, like, the Eagles offense is going to be able to score on the Cowboys defense. The Cowboys pass rush is pretty damn good. It looked pretty good against the Raiders. I don't think the Eagles are going to be able to channel much scoring here. I don't think A.J. Brown's automatically going to turn it on. We can say he is, but they're just not able to get the ball to him right now. Devontae Smith. And honestly, if the Eagles do come out and try to throw the ball all over the field and put up a ton of points, great. But I don't see them putting up enough, because you can't just turn on offense. I don't care if it's against bad defense. They look out of sync no matter who they're going against. They can't hit the easy throws. They can't do the easy things. So just because you're going against the Cowboys doesn't mean you're going to do anything special. And when the Cowboys have this added, these reserves that they brought in through the trade deadline, they look that much better on defense. So I think it's a spot where division game, Cowboys still have a playoff chance. They're going to play hard. Dak can put up points. It's a spot where I do like the Cowboys to cover here.
You kind of sold me with that. I wasn't really favoring either side. I hadn't fully broken down this game. I see what you're saying. It's hard not to, because the Eagles, one thing the Eagles have shown us this year is, they could win. The Cowboys could cover and the Eagles could still win. And that would kind of fit the script with how a lot of these Eagles games have gone this year.
Yeah. Let's look at I haven't looked at the Eagles scores in a while, but they mean
it's they win by 4, they win by 3, win by 7, win by 6, all back-to-back losses, win by 6. They blow out the Giants, win by 3, win by 7.
And then last year against the Cowboys, they won 34-6, and then they won 41-7. So they did own the Cowboys last year, but I think the offense was in a much better spot last year too.
The defense as well. The defense is ahead of the offense, but yes.
Yeah, I think it's a big game for the Cowboys. I think this is a spot where like the season is not over for Dallas. They still have an outside chance again in the playoffs. They got to keep winning games. Dak can like the George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb like connection there, Jake Ferguson. That's going to be hard for Philly to stop. Like the white boys in Philadelphia secondary are not going to be able to run with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. I'm sorry, they're not going to be able to do it. So
And Dak is playing at that sort of. I mean, Dak's got those stinker games in him, but more times than not, he's been at that like near MVP level this year.
yeah, and defensively, if they can get half a pass rush, they're going to be okay. Because the Eagles haven't been able to run the ball, and that Lane Johnson's beat up. I don't know if he's going to play in this one.
He's not. He's probably done for the regular season, back for the playoffs.
Okay, so there you go. This is a spot where I think Dallas can play a little bit.
Okay, my final of the 5 picks for the Sunday spreads. I'm going to take the team that should be favored. I don't care that they have a backup quarterback. I don't care they're missing their number one receiver. I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons plus 1.5 against the New Orleans Saints.
Nice.
Do not fall victim to Tyler Shuck embarrassing the Panthers. Now, that was credit to him. It was a lot better than I thought he could ever do. Completes the 19 to 27, 282 yards, 2 touchdowns. I get it. You know what, Tyler? Awesome job. For that to be your second game in the NFL, you deserve a lot of credit. Second start in the NFL. That is not Tyler Shuck. I can promise you that. That is not who he is. He's going against the Falcons defense that has quietly been pretty good this year. They can generate pressure. Kirk Cousins, he might not be the best backup quarterback, but as far as who do you want ready on 1 week's notice, hey, you got to start next week. How about the guy who's been a starter for 10 years in this league? Again, I don't think Kirk Cousins is that good, but I think he's better than Tyler Shuck is right now. I understand for people who are just seeing Tyler Shuck, oh, he looked really good last week. Yeah, he did. That's not the real version of him. He's facing a tough defense. This Saints defense is not very good. The best player in this game wears a Falcons uniform. His name is Bijan Robinson. I will take the Falcons against their division rival. I think they still get the job done.
I like it. I think the Falcons are the better team. I don't know if they're going to get it done. It's tough to go on the road in New Orleans and win, but I think the Falcons are a better team. I'd probably stay away from it. My last pick here that I would also probably stay away from, but I like it. It's tempting me. So here's what I'll say. I'm going to give 2 little quick bursts here. I like the Lions to cover 10.5 against the Saints because of the trend that they always cover after a loss.
Even against the Giants.
Against the Giants, 10.5 points. I like that. So that could be a pick for you if you wanted. That will be on my card. But I'm going to give the people a little bonus because that's simple. Everybody's going to be taking the Lions this week because of the trend. I like the Jacksonville Jaguars minus 2.5 on the road against the Arizona Cardinals. As inconsistent as they have been this season, the Jaguars are still now, like, you see the vision coming. Like, Mahomes is down. You have a chance to make the playoffs. These are the games you need to go out and win. I think the Cardinals have a solid defense, especially at home. They're coming off getting embarrassed by the 49ers, which is not a spot I like to bet against the team in after getting embarrassed by a division opponent. Jaguars also high as a kite after beating the Los Angeles Chargers last week. You just need Trevor Lawrence to play average football here, and you should be able to win the game. Like that. Truthfully, all you need. Lawrence last week, 14 to 22, 153, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, didn't do anything special. Defensively, the Jaguars have stayed in games because of their defense. But if Lawrence just goes in, does not turn the ball over, I think they give themselves a pretty good chance to win against a Cardinals team that's almost the season's over and they're pretty deflated.
So I like this one. I'm going to be betting this. I almost put it on my card for the show. I didn't, but I do like this one. The thing with the Cardinals as well, they were embarrassed by the final score, but Jacoby Brissett had 457 yards. So I don't think he or the offense is going into this with their tail between their legs. Like, oh my gosh, we got to save our reputation because we were just embarrassed. I don't think they feel like that. So I don't think there's that extra layer of motivation behind them.
Knock off Geno Smith. That's what they called you.
You want to know, so there are 5 quarterbacks who have thrown for more than 400 yards in a game this season. In order, this is wild. Those 5 are Joe Flacco, had 470. Then it's Jacoby Brissett, who had 457. Then it's Bryce Young, who just had 440 or whatever. Actually, excuse me. It's Russell Wilson, who had 450. Then it's Bryce Young, and then it's Justin Herbert. But that top 4 is Flacco, Brissett, Russ, and Bryce Young.
You should throw Herbert into that group too, because he is
he
is the worst quarterback that is viewed as a halfway decent quarterback, I think, in NFL history.
Don't do that.
The fact that he is going to Dodger games and courtside at the Lakers and not winning football games is you can't, if you go on the road to Jacksonville and get blown out, you should not go to another social event in LA. These team is they're going Halloween and they're dressing up for Halloweening. They're a bunch of weenies going Halloween. They're going to the Dodger games. They're going to the Laker games. They think they've done something. They've done it. Hey, Matthew Stafford at the Dodger game. That's all I need to hear. Matthew Stafford's not at the Dodger game. They actually done something.
Well, if you think about it, remember the Chargers were down 28-0 at Jacksonville in the playoffs a few years ago. So maybe Herbert was just like trying to recreate the script, but then he forgot to come back after that.
He's terrible. He is.
Actually, no, I got that backwards.
No, it's the backwards.
Yeah, I got it backwards. It was the Jags who were down 28-0.
That was what got Brandon Staley fired.
Yeah, you're right. I don't have an answer then.
Also, there shouldn't be 2 NFL teams in one city.
That I agree. There should never be in any sport. Never.
Because the face of LA is really Matt Stafford. It's not Justin Herbert, but he's trying to act like he is.
Is he trying to act like that?
I mean, he's got all these games with Madison Beer.
Fair.
Like, truthfully, like Matthew Stafford deserves to go to the Dodger game. I don't see him in the Dodger game. Justin Herbert's at a Dodger game when he's got a road trip on Sunday. Stop.
Well, I mean, Kershaw is like Stafford's best friend too.
And he's not there. Or he's not showing himself there. I don't know, but he's not there.
Yeah, Stafford is favored to win the MVP right now.
Yeah, I mean, but again, he's not going to social events. His wife's been some of the stuff his wife said on her podcast, pretty crazy. Have you seen that?
I have not.
That's old though. She was like, she used to basically she made him jealous by like dating other football players and stuff.
Oh, that part. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. But anyways,
so I mean, and a lot of our viewers know that my girl went to Georgia, and that's like her whole family has been going through Georgia. Her uncle was telling me a story. There was some offensive lineman who played at Georgia, and then he played in the NFL. I want to say he played for the Bengals, but he had finished his playing career. He was back in Georgia working as like a assistant coach, quality control, something or another for the Georgia football team. When Stafford showed up, and I can't remember if he was a freshman or if he was like coming on a recruiting visit as a senior in high school, but this guy told my girl's uncle, he said, I played in Georgia, I played in the SEC, I played in the NFL. I've never seen someone throw a ball like that kid. So Stafford's had it for a long time.
Yeah, no, he's that guy. And he's not going to, like, again, he's at a different age, and I get it with Herbert and stuff, but like, they are terrible. The Chargers are the worst team that could be something. Like, they might not make the play. The Chiefs might take their spot, honestly, because they're going to fall apart down the stretch here.
It could happen.
Yeah, I think that's more likely than the Jags falling apart. So, anyways, Grant, that was another episode of Ride the Line.
It was. So, guys, if you made it to the end of this video, make sure that you do hit the like button. Also, hit that subscribe button because Tanner and I are here multiple times throughout the week giving you the picks, and you want to make sure that you are locked in for that.
Yes. So make sure you guys smash the subscribe button. Check out WSN.com. If you're in Missouri, they launch on December 1st, too. Just a little heads up. So make sure you guys get in on that. The sports books are giving some great deals there, promo codes, boosts, all that. We got that online on WSN, so make sure you guys check that out. And Grant, why don't you take us out here?
That's going to do it for this episode of Ride the Line. Tanner and I appreciate you all joining us. One final time, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Check everything out at WSN.com. We will catch you all in the next episode of Ride the Line.